That is truly a good question. But I am afraid that absolutely no one can answer it but you. It would be the same as if I tried to breathe for you. You must do it yourself, for it is your own life and your own unique truth. This is a question that belongs to you alone. Who are you, really? Why are you here in this world, after all? Why are we all born into this life, anyway? And what's the point of setting ourselves different goals and tasks if in the end, death sums it all up equally for every single one of us? Everything is a consequence of something, but what is it all for? It is difficult to answer these questions from the position society has placed you in. Because everyone around you always decided what you should do, where to go, what to read, and what to believe. You didn't even have a choice. Your mind was programmed with others' knowledge so that your answers always aligned with someone else's desires, and as a result, the instilled habits of education very quickly pushed out the evolutionary instincts for self-growth. We have simply never had any other form of education at all. That is exactly how reality was created, blocking the path to your soul, where the answers have always been and where they are right now. Deep down, you have always known absolutely everything. You can feel this somehow right now. Don't you? If you have started asking questions to yourself, then you have already begun to understand something. It means you have matured and fallen out of the cocoon of habitual logic that had become your primary religion. The magical call to search, which you cannot yet explain with words but already feel within, has begun to cast its faint shadow upon the surface of your consciousness. Your insatiable mind, like a lifelong guide, has relentlessly dragged you along your whole life in search of pleasure. You felt your way through this life using chemical reactions in your head, often confusing pure perception with the interpretation of sensory data. And everything you leaned on in this life was merely the physiological perception of an informed mind, nothing more. Nothing more at all, truly. That is precisely how it happens. When exploring this world, it is as if you touch it with tightly clenched fists instead of gently laying it into your very own open palm. Everything here belongs to you. And this sad habit of mind has slowly killed everything sensitive in you that connected you to this world, which was simply gifted to you with your very first breath. That's why sometimes it's so painfully hard for a single person to love without suffering. Right now you can't deny the simple fact you exist, can you? You just are. And nobody really needs any kind of confirmation of that, because life itself is fundamentally inseparable from us. But by giving into that nature, we foolishly tied our identity to mere matter and have already forgotten what it truly deeply means to be natural. We've long forgotten how bright and sincere we once were as children. Having gotten used to that state, we let our soul atrophy and began clinging to the body as our only support, deciding that only it can possibly lead us to true happiness and inner peace. But a body without a soul is merely an insatiable, consuming black hole of our endless desires. And meanwhile, before sorrowful experience has killed the divine spark in you, before you become your own shadow, make absolutely sure once again that you're not merely this physical body, but a soul that is truly aware that it exists. After all, you do not need to make any effort for this either. Merely shift your attention from the visible to the one who sees, to the one who is aware of it all, to the one who wonders, who am I? Why am I here? These questions always arise from direct sensory perception, from the emptiness, when the inner dialogue, which has built up great momentum over many years, is interrupted. from the inner magical silence that would often drop hints to you in the form of intuitive solutions. But how often did you actually listen to that silence inside you? How often did that silence frighten you with its boundless emptiness, the kind that always felt deadly? Blind reason, fattened to obesity by the intellect, and accustomed to interfering in everything, interrupted any such awakening of consciousness, burying this silence under tons of intellectual knowledge, plunging you into a world of logic, where happy miracles never happen. Just know that your consciousness possesses the ability, without any excess knowledge, without logical chains of generalization, to instantly access any information, in intuitive bursts, out of silence itself. This is where the recognition arises that you are not merely this body, this mind, these thoughts. Apart from yourself. No one else can answer the question of who you truly are. No science, no religion, no government on earth will offer you an answer without its own vested interest in that answer. Only the whisper of your heart will first ask you to recognize the divine creator, and then lead you through the labyrinths of mystery where all the answers that stir you are hidden. But I think it is hard for you to imagine yourself as a perfect miracle, as a creator in your own right, because that inner place is already occupied, shaped by the way you have trained your mind to devalue yourself before various authorities over many long years. That's why in spiritual seeking, many fall in love with different teachings, practices, teachers, and spiritual gurus. And this infatuation sometimes imperceptibly grows into a fanatical imitation of someone else's dance. But don't you really see the world the way God sees it? And doesn't He look at this whole world through your attentive, admiring, loving eyes? Think about that a bit, please. You don't need authorities, believe me. Each of you is already perfect and self-sufficient. Never look outside for confirmation, because absolutely no one knows you better than you know yourself in your own direct experience. For your love always begins from within you. For beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. By trying to become even more successful, even stronger, and, even more loving, you only devalue what you already have, what was simply given to you from birth. In doing so, you keep pushing your own peace further away, even though true bliss is found within that peace. The bliss of not having but of being, just being, and nothing more. To strive in the search for something better is in fact to give your attention to an insatiable thirst for that which you are not. And that means you are programming, endlessly programming, the sense of your own inadequacy as well as your separation from this world. I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive for anything. Let that beautiful game take place. Pursue yourself wholeheartedly in everything you enjoy. Just don't go looking for your true self in that endless, exhausting, fruitless race. Because you already are. And you already are. The absence of the past, absence of expectation for the future, contemplation of the present moment without involvement in the mental game of personal relations with life. This is the direct path to liberation. It is really very simple. This is the natural acceptance of yourself and of that which already exists, without any practices or worship, without endless chanting of mantras and prayers. Many never even notice how they slowly become beggars in a world that really loves them, a world that already loves them, without any conditions at all. You see, there is only improvisation in each moment. There is only the process, becoming aware that you are not separate from this world. This is the unique dance of life, where there are simply no right or wrong moves. Of course, sometimes we quite lose our rhythm. We stumble, and then the problems and upheavals begin. But this too is a blessed experience that deeply teaches us tenderness, and as a result, invulnerability in the very next move. Be a contemplative observer of this dance, and an attentive, fully present participant, and you'll discover that both good and bad, right and wrong, are indeed the perfectly spontaneous improvisation of the present moment. And remember, always remember, you are perfect for the dance you're dancing right now. You are absolute reality perceiving this world. You are immortal, multi-dimensional consciousness suffused with light, and manifested in creative imagination, in tears, in laughter, in the capacity to love, dance, and contemplate the beautiful. You are life itself, aware of its rebirth every single second. The entire universe is lost in the vastness of your loving soul, so how can you not recognize the divine within yourself? Who are you truly? Find the answer in your heart. Become a lover of this beautiful world with no conditions, no expectations, no demands, and you will like the answer. That unfolds through your life.